What's up guys, Untitled Studios here, and we have yet another living room vacuuming video. This is the Sanitare SL4110A Professional Upright Vacuum with Tools. Very long name for something that doesn't have an actual name. So, this is pretty much unheard of on YouTube, despite the fact this machine has been out for a long time. To this day, the only video that I've seen on this is my video unboxing it right when it first came out. And this was a request to do a living room vacuuming video with this machine. And I figured I need to bring this machine over here to do a review on anyways, so it just made sense. And because I had previously gone through this whole big loop of testing out other machines in the living room, and, as a result, haven't really had an actual daily driver, but, I kind of needed a daily driver, and a bagged daily driver at that, because while I love that clear track, sometimes it just gets to the point where bagless is just very annoying to deal with. And going back to my beloved Clean Fairy HEPA bags has just been, something that I've been wanting to do, because that's the reason why I use these Bristles. I know some people say, why don't you get one of the new Tempos? And the main reason why, now I do plan on getting one of those as a side note to review at some point, but I still think once I get one of those Tempos, I'm still probably going to stick with this as my daily because, well, the main advantage to the Tempo is that it can do bare floors, and it still doesn't do bare floors all that well from what I've seen. So I'll still be using the Honiture for bare floors, and so at that point, what's the real advantage? I'm sure that Tempo would probably perform a little bit better than this on carpets, but I don't really think the difference would be that crazy. And I think that for me personally, the fact that I can still get these HEPA bags, that I can get 20 of them for $18 is just too good of a deal to pass up for something with HEPA. Because Hoover HEPA bags are a lot more expensive. Not like a lot more expensive in the sense of like they're expensive. They're not like Miele bags or something like that. But they are definitely, they're not as much of an insane value as the Clean Fairy ones. And, because the Clean Fairy ones almost seem like they're being made at cost. But I'm definitely not complaining. Whereas, those Hoover HEPA bags are still a much better choice than going paper, because you're still getting them for not really that much more than a paper bag. I didn't realize this was on. Sorry about that. So, put that in that little slot, which, yeah, I got the nice little metal handle, which I like. I love the blue color. And, yeah, so even though I definitely overpaid for this thing, I think I paid $120 for this, compared to my big green, which I paid $40 for brand new on eBay. Still has the original belt on it. Unfortunately, I vacuumed up some screws at one point, so this base plate is kind of scuffed up on this bottom part now, which is a bit annoying. But these wheels, well, as I say that, they make noises. These wheels feel a lot smoother than the ones on my big green, even though obviously they were both new very recently. But obviously this one's newer. Still has the original filter in it. I haven't swapped this out for a HEPA, which I will at some point. Especially this one, because in my older Bristles, this filter is like an actual filter. This just feels like a piece of foam. Like, it doesn't feel good. It just feels too squishy, and just, this obviously is not making a good seal, at least in this compartment. So obviously there's carbon dust and crap that's probably getting past this. But yeah, I do still have the air purifier that runs in here frequently to kind of offset anything that any of my crappy bagless vacuums are probably spewing out, but only so much you can do with that. And of course, it still has the kink in the hose that has been here since out of the box. Now, I'm not usually one to kink shame, but this is the kind of kink that I will shame. So, with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and run this. So, time to vacuum with the Sanitare, or the Bissell tear, because people have called the other ones Eureka tears. Is this a Bissell tear? Bissell tear. I forgot something, because I also need to vacuum the couches because they have some hair on them. So I gotta grab some sort of a, well, that's not gonna come off. That's definitely stuck on there. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Grab one of these. Is this one gonna come off either? Okay, this one's not gonna come off either. Okay, I guess none of these actual good turbo tools are gonna come off properly. Because that's stuck on there. That's not coming off. Oh, never mind. There it goes. Because these ones work a lot better than, at least they seem to work better than the newer style ones. Especially the ones with the weird rubber fingers. Like on that thing, which you can't even see because the stupid plushies. Alright, I'll try to do this with one hand. I could grab my tripod, but I don't really feel like it. Sometimes fumbling with stuff is funnier. And that's not even lined up correctly. Do I care? Not really. That's the Sanitare, the only Sanitare that I own, and, well, the only Sanitare I own out of arguably 0 Sanitares. But, I mean, it is a Sanitare. It's just a Sanitare. I mean, you could call this a Sanitare, you could call this a Bissell, you could call this a Samsung, you can call this whatever you want to call it. But, yeah. Um, by most, but well, I shouldn't say by most, by plenty of other collectors, probably considerably underwhelming and something that's not at all interesting. But to me, definitely something that I'm a fan of and can definitely appreciate. Especially this metal handle is it definitely really improves the build quality of it. Just makes it feel a lot more substantial. Because obviously, none of this is really that big of a deal as far as build quality, because you're not going to be throwing this thing down a flight of stairs, at least I'd hope not. And, this handles what you're going to be actually holding, and, well, it feels solid. So, I do kind of wish that because this handle grip, while it is better than, any of the Bissels that, would have actually gone on this machine, any of the Bissell handles, it is better than that. It's not, it's not two pieces that are conjoined with screws to where when you twist it, it feels like it's, the seams are breaking and then it's falling apart. But the way this bends, I do wish that this grip actually extended further, because the way that I hold this, I hold it like this, and then my thumb is just touching the bare metal, and that gets all smudgy, and it just feels slippery. And this handle grip, it already feels slippery, like I don't know what coating this is made out of, but it's not the best. It's still, again, I still prefer it to any sort of plastic, but this coating definitely, it'll be interesting to see how well this ages over time, because this is my daily driver, so it is the machine that's, at least in theory, going to be getting the most use. So it'll be interesting to see over time how this actually ages. Because before, while this was my daily driver, obviously the fact that it wasn't even at my house kind of bodes to how often I was using it, because I was just using so many other machines. I've been getting more and more vacuums. Even to this day, there's still a bunch of vacuums that I still need to do these demos on and do reviews of, since I just got a whole ton more from the vacuum shop. And, so that includes like an Electrolux, the Dirt Double Vision. Obviously there's some machines that I need to work on first, like the Dial-O-Matic, and there's just a lot of stuff that's going on this channel. But, it is kind of nice to go back to something a little bit more comfortable, something a little bit more, maybe comfortable is not the right word, because I obviously like a lot of the other vacuums that I've been reviewing. And even if I don't like the vacuum that I'm reviewing, just reviewing a new vacuum is just fun in of itself, at least to me. In most circumstances, it has to be really bad for me to actually hate using it. Like, even something like the Sharks, which a lot of people hate, are still kind of fun to use and fun to review. But I'm definitely much more of an optimistic reviewer than some other people on this platform. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know, just kind of has been the sort of thing where I pretty much like everything that I review, at least to an extent. So it's pretty easy for me to not be overly critical to the point where it sounds like I'm just bashing a product. But this machine, obviously it's something where I'm pre-positioned to liking it for obvious reasons. I mean, it's from a brand that I'm familiar with, at least, in a sense, because it's by Bissell. It's from a brand that I'm familiar with. It takes one of my favorite machines of all time, but adds some upgrades to it, and technically some downgrades, depending on which one you compare, whether you compare this to the Power Force or the Power Glide. But it takes one of those, fixes a lot of issues with it. It still has a couple issues, but it kind of offsets it, so at best it makes it like even. It's something that's still produced and still is made today, so it obviously has the, there's not like a collector mindset to it where it's like, I don't want to use it because if something breaks I can't get parts. This, obviously you can get parts for. It's a Sanitare. And then there's also the fact that my favorite color is blue, and guess what this is? That's right, blue. So that wasn't supposed to happen, but I guess this is a good time to show that HEPA bag. And also, the reason I'm using this over the Big Green is because, while the Big Green is nice in its own sense, the plastic the Big Green is made out of, while it is a better quality material because it's actually like a rubbery plastic, so it's more durable, This bag door, as a result, is very difficult to remove on the big green, whereas this is just like the old Power Forces. It just pops right off. There's no, it's still held in there securely, but there's no issues with it. I don't understand why this is discolored right here, because normally these bags always just stay completely white the entire time that I use them. I'm thinking that because I vacuumed up screws, that it kind of ripped away at the bag a little bit, and I'm starting to see like a little, like some actual dust on the inside of this, which is normally like entirely unheard of with these bags. So I'm starting to think that I might have to get rid of this bag prematurely, because this is obviously leaking out some dust, because the screws that I vacuumed up obviously tore up the bag a little bit, so that's not good. But even with this deteriorated state, this is still better than probably most paper bags. Then again, I do remember vacuuming with paper bags in my Power Force for a long time, and they usually wouldn't even let this little bit of dust through. Or at least, well, they would, but it wouldn't be after one vacuuming. It'd be after, like, years and years of, constantly vacuuming, like, every day, and, just eventually getting a little bit of dust on the inside of this. And this filter, too, this filter is just god-awful quality. I don't understand what the issue with these are. These filters are just really bad. This is just a piece of foam. There's nothing to it. This isn't an actual, like, filter like even the old Power Forces. So, but obviously the good news is that there's nothing stopping me from replacing these with a set from an actual Power Force that has the better quality filters. And it's kind of ridiculous saying that, how the $40-$50 machine has better quality filters than the $120-$150 machine. But that's the world we live in, and that's just makes it all the more important to get HEPA bags. There we go. So, and again, same thing with this post motor filter. So I will eventually, since this is my daily driver, eventually I'll replace this bag. And because again, normally I don't suck up anything crazy with these, like you're not supposed to, but I mean a lot of people do. And I will say that if this was the original paper bag that it came with, that would have ripped. That would have ripped really badly, and then there would have been all sorts of crap that would have gotten sucked into the motor and all over the inside of this, and it would have just been much, much worse. So those HEPA bags are definitely a solid investment. But yeah, those, and I was kind of worried because those HEPA bags were out of stock, but now they're back in stock again. So I may order some more, or I may wait till my next paycheck to get some more, because obviously I don't need any right now. I still have an entire pack that I haven't opened of 10, because when you buy those, you get 2 10-packs instead of, so it's a 20-pack. But yeah, so I do need to get some more of those HEPA bags, and yeah, so another thing I just noticed, like actually using this, these bristles are so much softer than I remembered. Like they're still kind of stiff, they're still just as dense, but now that I'm actually feeling these with my fingers, these bristles feel a lot softer than I remembered. Actually, well, that's just because I was kind of feeling them. When you feel the edges of them, they feel stiff. But when you feel the sides of the bristles, they feel soft. That's kind of weird. But I mean, obviously there's plenty of vacuums where these have soft bristles and still clean pretty well. So, and again, these actually aren't as soft as I thought they were now that I'm feeling them more. But obviously you could see it was grooming the carpet just fine. It'll be interesting to see, because I know some people have mentioned to me, like, oh, well, you shouldn't use this as daily because it's not CRI certified, Carpet and Rogue Institute certified. That is an interesting point, and I would like to see. Oh, there's some dust on the front of this too, probably from it sitting for a while, because obviously it was sitting for a while unused, so there's going to be a bit of dust on it. It would be interesting to see the Carpet and Rug Institute do some testing on this machine. I'm wondering if, since this is a Sanitare now, and I believe CRI has done reviews or done tests on Sanitare, I wonder if they'll do a test on this machine. That'd be very interesting to see. I would imagine this wouldn't get anything beyond a bronze rating, because I believe that aforementioned Hoover got a bronze rating as well, which is not perfect, but I mean, it's still pretty alright, especially for something in this price range. But I believe the Clear Track did have a CRI certification, but that's after it was Workhorse branded. But obviously my Clear Track is the same as the Workhorse, assuming the brush and everything in it is good, which that Workhorse does need a new brush. So I would imagine this being brand new and the Workhorse being worn out, I would imagine these perform on a pretty similar level. Obviously not exactly the same, but who knows? Maybe even saying that probably got a bunch of people down my throats, but who knows? Because you can't really say anything about vacuums anymore before everyone jumps down your throat about having a contrary opinion. And of course, that fell out of it, which is nice. So I guess I'll have to get that real quick. See that filter right there? So, and if we look at this, I don't know if did I show this before? I'm pretty sure I did in the unboxing. But you can see that right there. Sanitare, but it says Bristles International. So yeah, it is obviously still it's still a Bristles at heart. Or I guess, at heart it's still a Samsung. But yeah, SL4110A, 10 amps. Serial number 20 and then 16. That makes sense because I believe I did get this about a year ago. I got it like not right when it first came out, but I got it like within the first couple months of it being out, because obviously back then I wasn't making as much on YouTube, so I couldn't even impulse buy a vacuum in this price range. But I did wait for it because I believe it first came out at $140. I got it on sale for like $120 on Amazon, and I believe depending on where you look, it's around $120. I would say don't pay $140 for this machine, because at that point you might as well just get that Hoover Tempo. But unless you want something of this style. But at the $120 price range, that's a fair price for it. That's not amazing, but I mean it's pretty all right. And I'll touch more on that in the full review. I know some people again would get mad at me for even recommending this over over the Hoover personally, but yeah, I just like it. And again, this deep blue is really nice, and I'm a big fan of that. So probably because again, it's like I don't need it to work that great on bare floors, because I have other machines that work just fine on bare floors. And then also like the rubber belt. I mean, those Hoovers tend to have issues with that rubber belt changeover mechanism, like that clutch, because so many of those that I fixed, like the wind tunnel high performances and the T-Series models, just have so many problems with that. And I would much rather have a rubber belt that I have to change like every year with my usage than have a changeover mechanism that doesn't really give me a lot of, that doesn't make the belt last all that much longer, and that even if it does, well, I guess it depends. Usually it does make the belts last a lot longer. Those belts do usually last a lot longer. But that changeover mechanism is just so prone to failure. And, while I would imagine that plenty of them don't have that issue, all the ones that I get in tend to have that issue, which is really irritating. It's just like with the Dyson ball machines, how like not every one of those machines have the issues with the wand getting jammed and not going in properly, but so many of the ones that I've gotten, in fact, most of the ones that I've gotten have had that issue to the point where it's just been really frustrating to deal with. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling all over the place. I'm sorry for the long video if you weren't interested. I know some people complain about the long videos, but some people like the long videos. Between the two, I prefer to have the long videos, because if you want the short video, you can always just skip through. Whereas if you want a longer video and it's shorter, there's nothing I can do other than make another video. So, and then that's obviously not as convenient. So you can't make everyone happy. But just a little bit of a rambling video about the Sanitare and why I use it every day. At some point, I'll probably make an actual video discussing all the machines that I use on a regular basis. So if you're interested in that, like this video. And if I get enough likes on this video, then I'll do that video as well, just explaining what it is that I use every day. Obviously, this is officially back in the rotation, and unless something goes wrong with this, I don't really see that changing anytime soon, even if I do get some other machines in for review, which leftover funds for this month aren't really that, aren't really that high, so there's not any machines I can really get from, for this month. I'll have to wait till my next paycheck, and if I have some cash left over, maybe I'll get another machine to review, maybe something like the Panasonic or something like the T-Series wind tunnel. Or if there's, some people recommended the Bosch. There's like a new old stock Bosch canister for like around $200, and some people recommended that. So if there's any vacuums that you want me to check out, let me know. I'll likely, by the time you see this video, I'll likely have launched the Patreon already, and you'll know that for sure, depending on whether or not those links are there. But anyways, just in case you want to contribute to the channel and help me get a little bit more income so I can actually buy more machines for review. But if you don't, that's obviously no big deal. You don't have to contribute to the Patreon. You don't have to send super chats or anything. Just watching the videos is really nice, and I really appreciate all the support. And even if you decide not to watch the videos, that's fine too. Perfectly within your right to do that, and I totally understand. So, but anyways, I got a request to do the Sanitare, so I just did the Sanitare. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And I wonder if there's like an adapter I could get like to fit this to like put an outboard turbo brusher on this, but because that'd be kind of nice. But even if not, that's obviously no big deal. I can just, as you can see, just grab it off a different machine to use a turbo brush. Obviously, this has the same attachments that the old style Power Force has, which aren't as good. You've got this thing. This feels bad. But yeah, you got that. And you got the extension wand and crevice tool. I don't know if you heard that over the sound of that snapping in place. You still got the dinky little crevice tool, but that's fine. Anyway, guys, this is Untitled Studio signing out. I probably rambled off way too much in this video. I might have even said something that was wrong or stupid, but whatever. Anyways, Untitled Studio signing out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this video. And let me know what you want to see next. Anyways, again, Untitled Studio signing out. I'm repeating myself. This video is a train wreck. Whatever. See you guys in the next video. Peace. Ruby, get over here. Ruby, why are you walking so slow? You have no energy? Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Yes. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? You're a good girl. Hi. Oh my god, you're so pretty. And loud. Ooh, and my leg's cramping. Hey, Woobers. Hi, Woobers. You just... Hi. Hello. Woobers. Woobers. Ruby, do you like the Sanitare? Yeah, Snoop. Ear scritches. Are you just gonna keep staring at the camera, Rupers? Look at that beautiful snoot. Yes. Yes. Such a good cargo sausage. You got some hair on you. Make sure it doesn't get in your eye. It's okay, we get some hair on the floor. The Sanitare will pick it up. Yes. Who's a good doggo? You're a good doggo. Your tail keeps hitting the table. No. No. Oh, I fell over. Oh, he sneezed. Ruby. Stretch. Oh. Who's a good girl? Boop. Boop. Ow! You stepped on my arm flab. Boop. What's that? What's that? What's that noise? Is Daddy home? Boop. You're so photogenic, Ruby. Boop. She always does this. Whenever I lay down, she'll just rest her head right on my stomach. Ruby. You wanna go outside? Oh. That's why you had energy, because you want to go outside. Okay. Ruby, want a treat? You want a treat? You want a treat, don't you? What do we got here? You want a beef flavor stick? If I can open the stupid package. Yeah. Alright, let's see if we can open this. There we go. It smells like a Slim Jim. Even looks like a Slim Jim, but it just smells like dog treat mixed with Slim Jim. Doesn't it? Ruby, spin. Good girl. Ruby, stand up. Oh, do you remember how to do that? Can you? I forgot. Can you stand up? Stand up.